Hey there, Paul Wagler here for Rise Now and the 2-minute wake-up call. Well, here I am. I'm sitting on the floor in our bathroom. You can see the toilet behind me. And I've spent a lot of time on this floor recently. Well, you're thinking, why would you do that? Well, a number of weeks ago, we discovered that our toilet was leaking. And so I took the toilet off, and there's a big mess underneath, and we started cleaning all of that up. And yeah, it's just, I've spent a lot of time on this floor in the last little while to get everything back in shape. But in the midst of that, there was some times that were very difficult in this process because there was some times where I got to a place in the renovation, this emergency bathroom renovation as we called it, where I was not quite sure what to do. Because, for example, when I had taken the subfloor off and then let the floorboards underneath dry out, I realized that the floorboards were just nailed to the joists, and I thought, well, let's screw them down. So I was screwing them down along the joist, and then all of a sudden they're not catching a joist, and I'm like, what is going on underneath this floor? So I decided I needed to take a piece of the floor off, the floorboard out, so I could actually see what was going on, and that helped me to brace it up and to get it solid once again. But there was a point in there where I was like, what have I done? How is this going to work? And I called out to the Lord. I'm like, Holy Spirit, help me. And he did. He gave me an idea of how to put this back together, that it would work. And it got me thinking about how sometimes in our own lives, there's things that are going on deep within inside of us that need addressing, that need some attention, and maybe a place where we need some healing and some wholeness once again in our hearts. And so in that process, sometimes it can be difficult. It can even hurt. It can be uncomfortable, and it can be uncertain. And it might be where we start into dealing with something and be like, what have I done? I should have just left this alone. And but we need to trust God in those times, that like I trusted God as I was renovating this bathroom, trying to fix up the leak and put everything back together. And it reminds me of this verse in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, which says, but above all else, guard your heart, for from it flow all the issues of life. And so no, you and I, we want to pay careful attention to our hearts. We want to guard them. We want to see what's in them, and we want to address even the deep places of our hearts where there may be wounds, there may be hurts, there may be things that need attention, because those things, if they're left unattended to, they will affect us in the way that we act, in the way we respond in situations. And so it could turn out sort of as bad as a leaky toilet, that is just like it's going on like this for a long time before we actually discovered that there's a problem. And then it required some deep work in this floor. And we're glad to say that it is good now and things are working well. And then we can have that same result in our lives as we allow the Holy Spirit to do that deep work in our heart and bring the healing and the wholeness that only He can bring, as we extend forgiveness and we let go of bitterness and other emotions and things that are not bringing health, but are bringing that are working in a detrimental way in your life and in mine. So let's not be afraid to go into those deep places and allow the Holy Spirit to bring a healing that only He can bring in our hearts today, because from our hearts flow all the issues of life. Well, a few things for you to think about from our renovated bathroom, and until we meet again, stay awake and stay alert.